And Alma also himself could not rest, and he also went forth. Now we shall say no more concerning their preaching, except that they preached the word and the truth according to the spirit of prophecy and revelation, and they preached after the holy order of God by which they were called. And now I, to an account of the wars between the Nephites and the Lamanites, in the 18th year of the reign of the judges. For behold, it came to pass that the Zoramites became Lamanites. Therefore, in the commencement of the 18th year of the people of the Nephites saw that the Lamanites were coming upon them. Therefore they made preparations for war. Yea, even they gathered together their armies in the land of Jershon. And it came to pass that the Lamanites came with their thousands, and they came to the land of Antonium and Tianum, and they came into the land of Antonius, which is the land of the Zoramites, and a man by the name of Zarahemnah was their leader. And it came to pass, and now, as the Amalekites were of a more wicked and murderous disposition than the Lamanites were, in and of themselves. Therefore Zarahemnah appointed chief of captains over the Lamanites, and they were all Amalekites and the Zoramites. Now this he did, that he might preserve their hatred towards the Nephites, that he might bring them into subjection to the accomplishment of his designs. For behold, his designs were to stir up the Lamanites to anger against the Nephites. This he did, that he might usurp great power over them, and also he might gain power over the Nephites by bringing them into bondage. And now the design of the Nephites was to support their lands and their houses and their wives and their children, that they might preserve them from the hands of their enemies, and also they might preserve their rights and their privileges, yea, and also their liberty, that they may worship a God according to their desires. For they knew if they were to fall into the hands of the Lamanites, that whosoever should worship God in spirit and in truth, the true and the living God, the Lamanites would destroy. Yea, and they also knew the extreme hatred of the Lamanites towards their brethren, who were the people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi, who were called the people of Ammon. And they would not take up arms, yea, they had entered into a covenant, and they would not break it. Therefore, if they should fall into the hands of the Lamanites, they would be destroyed. And the Nephites would not suffer that they should be destroyed. Therefore they gave them lands of their inheritance. And the people of Ammon did give unto the Nephites a large portion of their substance to support their armies, and thus the Nephites were compelled alone to withstand against the Lamanites, who were a compound of Laman and Lemuel, and the sons of Ishmael, and all those who had descended from the Nephites, who were the Amalekites and the Zoramites, and the descendants of the priests of Noah. Now those descendants were numerous, nearly as were the Nephites, and thus the Nephites were obliged to contend with their brethren, even unto bloodshed. And it came to pass, as the armies of the Lamanites had gathered together in the land of Antonios, behold, the armies of the Nephites were prepared to meet them in the land of Jershon. Now the leader of the Nephites, or the man who had been appointed to be chief captain over the Nephites, now the chief captain took command of all the armies of the Nephites. His name was Moroni. And Moroni took all the command and the government of their wars, and he was only 25 years old when he was appointed chief captain over the armies of the Nephites. And it came to pass that he met the Lamanites in the borders of Jershon, and his people were armed with swords, with scimitars, and all manner of weapons of war.